The one thing I'd love people who advocate for net zero to say in this debate, I'd like someone just to map out some basic things about how we're going to do things in a net zero world. Take, for example, the manufacturing of something called urea. Urea is a fertiliser that comes from natural gas. It is responsible for feeding half the world's population. Half the world's food comes from the fertilisers made from urea. Now, it is made from natural gas. How are we going to make urea? How are we going to grow food for half the world's population if we have net zero and we don't have gas? I mean, it's very easy to say net zero. It's very easy to say, look, let's just have net zero emissions. It's easy, isn't it? Well, it's not, because almost everything we grow, we make, we do in our society relies on the use of fossil fuels. And without them, people will starve. Without fossil fuels, we won't be able to go anywhere. Without fossil fuels, a lot of people will not have jobs. And so just answering those basic questions would be really, really helpful. This is the most crazy policy that any governments have ever adopted. We want to fundamentally change how we make, grow and travel within a generation. 2050, which is what they want to do net zero emissions by, is just 27 years away. And what's happened since the world is, well, like, we're trying to restrict our emissions and push up our costs, but it only really matters, of course, what we do here if other countries do the same, if the rest of the world acts as well. But what's happened since the world signed up to net zero emissions at Glasgow in late 2021? What's happened there since then? Global carbon emissions have gone up. They've gone up, not down. Now ours haven't. We're trying to do the right, well, so-called right thing. But China, India, Russia, as I've already mentioned, they're just laughing all the way to the bank. And that's why fundamentally net zero emissions is a fraud and a scam, is a total fraudulent scam which allows countries like China and India and Russia, who don't play by the rules in the world game, it allows them to get off scot-free and then take the jobs from Western countries. This is a massive transfer of wealth and prosperity from our nations, from our country, from our people, to those countries who never and will not play by the rules. We are absolute mugs to fall for this scam, but we're doing it time and time again. Now, eventually it'll end in tears because they won't be able to reach net zero emissions, and what is going to happen then? People will be very, very angry.